It's time for a Sunday morning Q&A. Joining us this morning, William Kirwan, Chancellor of the University System of Maryland. Good morning.
Good morning, Kate.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
For someone in your position, this is the best time of year, isn't it? School starts. And
well, in normal years, but as you know, we're having some real difficulties with the budget, as so many are in our society today.
So we did want to start with this. You're here on the weekend after we learned of more furloughs for university system employees. The Board of Regents approved that measure. I think it was on Friday. You have to make up it's an attempt to make up $26 million of $94 million in cuts from the state. So it's kind of salary reductions through furloughs. How will each university president, Frostburg, Towson, et cetera, how will they decide who to furlough and for how long?
Well, the furlough plan will be tiered so that those at the lowest income have the fewest furlough days, and those that make the most money will have the most furlough days. But we are going to be very careful to ensure that the impact on the academic programs is minimized, the impact on students is minimized, so that classes continue to run and services are provided. So people will just have unpaid days spread throughout the year, but we are going to do it in a way that minimizes the impact on our students.
How soon could this start?
It'll start in the next few weeks.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right, and I cannot overstate my admiration for our faculty and staff, their professionalism, their dedication. Here we're asking them to do more with less, and we're reducing their salaries, and yet they continue to perform at a very high level, and we are indebted to them.
Is it full-time employees? I think last time it was just full-time employees.
Okay.
So will students, you said you're going to try to minimize the impact. There's students out there wondering, will my classes on Wednesday be canceled because my professor's furloughed? How will they notice changes, if any?
Well, they'll know changes because there won't be as many people around. In fact, we've had budget cuts earlier in the year. We don't have the size of teaching faculty that we normally do, so there aren't as many course sections being offered. Classes are larger, services are less. But that's the time we live in right now, where it's not just at the University System of Maryland, it's all throughout our state and, quite frankly, our nation and the world. So it is a difficult time, but we've been given a great deal of flexibility by the governor in how we manage this fiscal situation, and it has been enormously helpful to us. As difficult as the situation is in Maryland, if you look around the country, we are much better off. Our cuts have been less, and the support we've gotten from the state has been greater. We're one of the few, if not the only state, university systems in the country that hasn't raised tuition.
We have some viewer questions, and a couple of them are about tuition, if you don't mind.
Sure.
This first question comes from a viewer named John, who writes, why can't the university system enact a spending freeze until the economy gets better? UMBC has been spending money on planting trees, installing an expensive irrigation system for athletic fields, and planning for a new $104 million building, while I am forced to take furlough days. Let's stop the spending and help out the workers. So, and I'm assuming he's one of probably many people who walk around campus and say, why are you building this thing when I have to take these
well,
days
I think
off? What
people don't maybe fully appreciate, we are having a spending freeze in the sense that we have a hiring freeze. We're not doing any hiring. Travel expenses, etc., are greatly restricted. What happens with construction and other projects, these are based on contracts that were let before the fiscal crisis arose, and so the work is being done based on a contractual arrangement. So people have to understand that we're not on the one hand furloughing people and at the same time spending money. We're honoring commitments that were made in the past.
Okay, our next question comes from Christopher in PG County. He writes, is it true that you're keeping the tuition freeze in place? You just said yes. And how can you afford to do that? I thought that was a great question.
Well, as I say, the governor has given us a great deal of flexibility in managing this budget crisis, and we think we've done it in a very effective way. I mean, one of the things that weighs on us is couldn't possibly be a worse time to raise tuition. College education has been financed mainly on home equity and the support of parents. Home equity is down. Parents have lost jobs or had their wages cut back. So it is just an unbelievably difficult time for students and families. And for example, this year we've had the largest number of requests for financial aid and the most appeals on financial aid in our history. And so we are very mindful of how difficult it is for young people to go to college, and so we've been very cautious, very resistant to raising tuition. But tuition will be going up in the future, and we just have to accept that. But we trying to avoid undue extra burden on students during this very difficult fiscal time.
So for now, you heard the promise from William Kirwan, Chancellor of the system. Tuition-free stays in place for now.
But it will go up
eventually
in the not-too-distant future.
We've run out of time. I wish we had more time. There was other subjects we wanted to get to, so you'll have to come back.
Okay,
Chancellor,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much
Good to
for
be
your
with
time
you.
this